Well, joining us now on Encounter is Dr. Sarah Bascle of the Catholic Medical Center's Women's Wellness and Fertility Center in Manchester, New Hampshire. Thank you so much for being with us, Sarah.
Thank you for having me, Kevin.
Before we get into the work of the center, maybe if you could tell us a little about your journey, how you ended up getting into the medical field, and what sort of was the catalyst for that.
Well, my name is Dr. Sarah Bascle, and I am a practicing obstetrician and gynecologist. Knew I wanted to be a doctor from a very young age, and I don't know why. I enjoyed taking care of my younger sisters, but it was in medical school where I explored different specialties, pediatrics, family, ER, but learned that I really enjoyed taking care of women and being with them during kind of some of their most memorable parts of their lives, pregnancy, childbirth, the menopausal years, and enjoy taking care of them. So that's ultimately why I chose to become a OBGYN.
Now, I know the center deals in natural family planning, but I wondered too, I know some people might have heard of that before, but could you talk about NAPRO technology as well? Is that the same thing, or how does that play into this?
Sure. Well, natural family planning or fertility awareness, there's lots of different names to describe the same thing, and involves helping a woman learn a standardized way to observe her signs of fertility. So there's very detailed ways that she can observe her, for example, cervical mucus, or other methods have them checking her basal body temperature, or even some use a ovulation predictor kit to measure urinary metabolites of certain hormones. And so it's all the same cycle. There's just different methods that have been developed and studied and researched to help a woman know when she is fertile and infertile. And then the methods help a woman or couple understand that and choose when they can have intercourse to achieve or avoid pregnancy. Now, NAPRO technology, I think of it as taking it a step further. And I think of that as the gynecologic application of natural family planning. So that's all about family planning. And then NAPRO is if a person has a problem. So whether it's a woman infertility, painful periods, PMS, we get all this information from the natural family planning, from the chart. But then NAPRO has, there's been a lot of research on what lab work should we do, what ultrasound should we do to come up with the causes and then treat those causes without suppressing her fertility.
Okay. I know couples that are having infertility issues, they'll go to their primary care physician or to a hospital and stuff, and they might get different options too. Could you talk about the church's position on this and why things like natural family planning and taking it to the NAPRO technology, why that's so important, and why there is great, like the Wellness Center, to have an option such as your clinic?
Yeah, the church's position on, not condoning artificial forms of reproduction like IVF and intrauterine insemination really comes from a place of love, a beautiful place of love for the woman, to kind of build her up and support her her dignity, but also the family of how procreation and marriage are ordered. But then when women or families encounter infertility, it's because they want a good thing. They want a family. They want a baby, but it doesn't mean that it's right to do that through something that is, illicit, like IVF, that could destroy life. And so we really have to offer them something else. We can't just say this is something that you have to, suffer with, and come up with solutions. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about NFP and NAPRO technology, is really we're at service of the family, we're at service of the woman, of her health, to help her be healthier, and also help the family kind of grow as they want.
So if a couple's watching this now and they're experiencing infertility, and it is a very emotional issue, and people go through so much, what would you suggest their first step be? How would you suggest they go about trying to figure out what to do next?
I think the first step is always reaching out for help, and so that a lot of times once they reach out for help, they realize that they're not alone. I mean, I have a whole practice of hundreds of women who are experiencing the same, and not women. It's a couple that experiences infertility, not just the woman. So knowing they're not alone, but then also a lot of them get comfort in trying to find out what the cause is, why they have infertility, and that's where we can come in. And so you don't need to go through 8 years of infertility without seeing a doctor.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women avoid seeing a doctor because they're afraid that IVF is going to be their only option, and we're here to provide an alternative, and hope.
And Catholic Medical Center and the Women's Wellness and Fertility Center is what it's called. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being with us and talking with us.
Thank you for having me.